So I wanna jump in right there.
Yeah.
It is a fascinating take right here. So we have on the one hand the fact that for a long time there were kind of these more right libertarian forces within the conservative movement that felt a little bit impinged upon by the social conservatives. They're turning to the creation story of America, which, as you mentioned, is in any culture, in any movement or culture, one of the most powerful things you have is your creation story. And they're trying to remake the conservative movement in the image of this Tea Party, and of course distort the history by claiming that it was about protesting taxes when it was really about protesting tax cuts for corporations and for favored corporations by the government and crony capitalism. They tried several times, and each time it falls flat. Here's my question. To what extent was this division between kind of the right libertarian wing of the Republican tent and the social conservative wing of the Republican tent a substantive difference or a political or power difference? Were they really concerned? They just didn't like things like being too pro-life, or was it more a question of emphasis? I mean, I think about our own divisions sometimes on the left. Me personally, I associate myself with the left. The differences can sometimes be symbolic and sometimes substantive. Which was it here?
That's actually a fascinating question that I attempt to address in the book, but I don't think anyone has the full answer. If you have control of a mass movement, that is inherently a lot of power. So I think a lot of the, or at least some of the tension, was just in terms of this kind of power dynamic. Because the social conservative movement was kind of in vogue during the Bush years, you had folks like Focus on the Family, James Dobson, Tim LaHaye, these very kind of old school social conservatives amassing a lot of power, and I think that made people very jealous. Dick Armey, who later emerged as the Tea Party leader, was very vocal about his hatred of dependence on folks like Dobson. I mean, he even wrote kind of an angry op-ed in the Washington Times back in 2006 saying, these guys are fools, and they come in my office and tell me what to do, or, I remember they used to do that, and I don't want to deal with them.
And of course, the most infamous case in which Army complained about their influence was, of course, the case of Terry Schiavo, which openly, as you report, Republican operatives were saying that this case back in the mid-2000s, where the Republican Party became obsessed with keeping a brain-dead woman on a feeding tube, was literally known to be ridiculous and known to be undue interference, but was basically a bone thrown to the social conservatives within the party.